In this vid, I'm going to be doing a commentary from a live game rather than an online game. It's my first time attempting to do this, but I think people are going to enjoy this a little bit better because I think a lot of the battle vids, while they like to see these types of battle vids, because we're using proxies and we're not really explaining things as we go along, are a little harder to follow, especially for maybe some newer or less experienced players. So, like I said, this is going to be my first attempt at doing a commentary over a live game. So we'll see how it works out. I've got a bit of a sinus infection, but hopefully it won't interfere too much with the video, and we'll be able to get something good. So I believe John is playing the black deck. John is Ace Play 258, and he's playing CMT, which is Celebi, Mewtwo, Tornadus, and I'm playing Zekeels. This was a part of a state championship preparation. He mulligans once, and pretty much, I can't tell what that is. Okay, so I get to go first. He starts off with a Mewtwo. I start off with a Tynamo and a Zekrom on the bench, and I'm going to be able to Collector on my first turn. So far, I'm pulling out a Thundurus, and I believe this is the deck that I played with at the South Carolina State Championship. So this is Zekeels with Thundurus rather than my Zekeels list with Smeargle and Sky Arrow. So I'm going to pull out another Tynamo. And right now, I'm going for that third Tynamo. So pretty much just trying to set up those eels as fast as possible before they get targeted. I don't bother shuffling up my deck because I will be going back in with charge. So just going over my hand to see if there's anything else I can play. I attach the DCE, which is probably the only energy in my hand. Otherwise, I would love to attach a lightning energy and not have to waste the DCE on the Thundurus, but oh well. And then I charge to attach a lightning energy from the deck to Thundurus. And then it is John's turn. You can kind of see some of his deck. Like again, we're going to be doing color proxies sometime in the future. They're a lot of work to deal with. So he attaches the energy, then decides to take back the energy, and decides to Pont instead. The reason he does that is if he can get a Celebi, a DCE, Grass Energy, basically if he can get a Celebi and a Switch, he can use the Grass Energy as an attachment with Celebi's ability, rather than his attachment for the turn. He can use that attachment for the turn on a DCE. So there's a Tornadus, and he attaches a DCE to Mewtwo, which means he can do a little more damage, or he can actually attack. Whereas typically he wouldn't be able to attack otherwise. So it's now my turn. I guess I should say he attacks with X-Ball, which does 20 times number of energy attached. And so that's doing 100 to me. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, yep. I did 100 to me last turn. I believe I just Junipered away my hand. After the free retreat. And unfortunately it looks like I didn't have the energy in hand earlier to be able to attack. Looks like now I have the energy in hand. Question is, do I go ahead and attach it and do some damage to that Mewtwo, or save it for something else? Looks like I do decide to attach it there. I did bench a Mewtwo with an Eviolite earlier. That was before I Junipered. And now I'm just kind of thinking, this is a practice fun game, so you may see throughout the video that we do take some of our not complete turns back, but we may attach something and then take it back. Again, this is just kind of a fun game, so we allow for little misplays like that, just kind of as learning experiences, and not to terribly wreck the game. You will often find when you're watching these videos that I tend to be a slower player. But, yeah, so I capture up the Tornadus and Disaster Volt, take advantage of that weakness, and take my first prize. Right now I think my thought is, until I get my eels set up on the bench, I really just kind of need to take the cheap prizes. So he flips something on the dual ball. I cannot see with the dice if that's 1 heads or 2, but looks like it's going to be That was a double heads, so he pulls out a Cleffa and another Tornadus. Shuffling up his deck. He keeps a Cleffa in his hand. He attaches, I don't know what, maybe a DCE to Tornadus, and then just X-Balls for the knockout. That X-Ball, again, is still doing 100 to me. So I promote a Dynamo. I attach the DCE to the Mewtwo. If I can get one eel up to Dynamo or a Lightning on a Mewtwo, I'm going to be able to return the KO on that Mewtwo and take 2 prizes. So that's essentially what I'm going for right now. It's just a matter of if I can get an eel in play. Looks like I'm not really enjoying my hand. Obviously, I do not have an eel in hand. And I'm just pretty much, yeah, I have to punt. I might have had a Sage in hand or something like that, trying to determine what were the better chances of being able to draw into an eel or a level ball or something to be able to get into an eel. So I went with the punt. Goes ahead and lucky cut. We'll see if I pull it. And I try and evolve the Zekrom into the eel. Kind of excited there, but there is the electric and there is the level ball as well. So I'm going to be able to get 2 electric into play on this turn, which is great. That's really going to ensure that my deck just speeds along. So probably shuffling up a little extra, pretty much just to consider my options, think a little bit more. I'm going to Dynamotor once on the Mewtwo, retreat, second Dynamotor onto the Zekrom, and then I'm going to use X-Ball for the return knockout and take 2 prizes. Mewtwo is weak to Psychic, so essentially what you're seeing in a lot of tournaments is a Mewtwo war. Whoever attacks with the first Mewtwo, ideally you don't want to be the first attacker with the Mewtwo because you're going to have a hard time just keeping it up. So it looks like he junk arms a Cleffa maybe and a Sky Arrow for a dual ball. And I can't tell what that is, but it looks like since he's not going into his deck, that is a double Tails. And then he takes that part of that junk arm back. He decides to discard the plus power instead of the Cleffa. And then free retreats with Sky Arrow and Eeks. Again, since this is just a practice game, we allow, little things like that to be taken back. However, if that was in a tournament, I definitely would not allow him to take that back because double Tails and being stuck with a nothing hand was, honestly, that was kind of a crucial misplay. Giving up your draw power, when you have no supporter in your hand, that Cleffa is your draw power. So junk arming that away was not a good thing. But he's only taken 1 prize so far, and this is a practice game, so I definitely want it to be a little bit more of a closer game because this is practice for states, and, you can't always rely on your opponents making little misplays like that are really going to cost them. So I believe, yep, that's me paunting. I guess that was his flip for sleep. He is awake, so... Question is do I try and target the Tornadus on the bench, if I'm able to, that is, or if I just knock out the Cleffa? I'm thinking, and the only bad part about commentary is that we're probably discussing something as well. I don't know whether it's related to the game or just something that we're discussing, which it may also be why I'm taking so long. And I'm still just rifling through my hand, figuring out, so there's my X-Ball, knocking out the Cleffa, and take one more prize. So, feeling really good. I am up by, see how, he's taken one prize, I've taken 4, so feeling pretty good. He can bench a Mewtwo if he wants, but all I have to do is return a knockout on Mewtwo. So he junks arm an Eviolite and a Juniper, it looks like, which makes me think he's got another one in hand. Takes that Eviolite back and junk arms the grass, and that's junk arms for the dual ball, and hits another double tails. And you can kind of see by him backing up, his reaction was not a good one. So he attaches the Eviolite to the Tornadus, and he's kind of frustrated, throwing his cards around. John can do that sometimes. It looks like he's got, he's junk arming the catcher and the DCE with that Juniper. And honestly, I think that's a misplay. Is he gonna realize it and take it back and use that catcher? Yeah, he did. He took it back, used that catcher to bring up an eel, if for no other reason than to just stall. And Juniper for a fresh hand of 7 to hopefully be able to do something. So here's a Celebi, here's Terrakion on the bench. Here's the attachment to the Tornadus. And he's taking that attachment back. Or, oh no, I'm sorry, he's not taking that attachment back. He is actually attacking, and as a result of his attack, he gets to move a basic energy back to the bench. He puts it on Terrakion. He does 80 to my eel, so it's not quite knocked out, but it is stuck in that active position, which is not a good thing for me with that 2 retreat cost. Sky Arrow only works on basics, so that doesn't really help me. I need a DCE or a switch. So it looks like I am junk arming, lightning, and something else for... What am I junk arming for? I don't know what I junk armed for. Unfortunately, my discard pile is off to the side, so I can't see what I pulled off there. And there's Kirlia. That is John's new kitten. John has 2 cats, both named after Pokemon, Hoppip and Kirlia. She is named Kirlia... Okay, there's the switch. She is named Kirlia because her original name was Claudia, and we wanted to pick something that kind of sounded familiar. The Gardevoir line is also John's favorite Pokemon line, so Kirlia only made sense. But that is his new kitten. She's probably about 6 months old now. And let's see, after I switch, I'm not quite sure what I did. If that paunt was from last turn and I just didn't realize it, or if I actually pawned it again. Here I consider just attaching even more to Mewtwo, and you can tell that I'm kind of doing some math. Yeah, so I attach the DCE for my turn, I Dynamotor 1 lightning energy from the discard pile onto Mewtwo. I try and play move the switch out of the way, because I did, instead of discarding the switch, I kind of just stuck it on my benched eel. And so now that I have the cat out of the way, I'm using a junk arm again, getting another lightning into the discard pile, and I believe I'm going to be junk arming for that for the catcher to bring that Terrakion up to knock it out with Mewtwo. Since most of my deck is weak to Terrakion, that is a huge threat on the bench. So now I can free retreat into my nicely loaded up Mewtwo, and I take the prize with Terrakion. I do not use my second Dynamotor, or did I? I do see that there is a Zekrom EX on the bench with a lightning energy, so that may have been my second Dynamotor. If not, I do have a a lightning energy in the discard pile to help power up something else if my Mewtwo isn't actually knocked out. Let's see. I'm not quite sure what he's doing, actually. There's the okay. So he Pokegeared for the Collector, and I don't know why he shuffled, because he's now going back in with Collector. And he should be able to easily return that knockout on the Mewtwo. The only problem is that his deck only runs 2 Mewtwo EX. Oh, here we go. So he was having a hard time finding his Mewtwo EX. I was about to check his prices to see if it was in there. Again, just a friendly match, not something I would do in tournament. But he did find the Mewtwo EX, his second Mewtwo EX, so there it is. He pulls out another Celebi as well. And hopefully he has the energy in hand. I believe that is his... that is not his deck, or that is not one of the decks we're playing. That is his Zekeels deck, I believe. Either his Zekeels or his Magneal deck. So he puts the two in his hand, benches both of them, and he's attaching that Celebi, but he actually intends to be attaching that Mewtwo. Just a slight mistake. He plays a switch to be able to, well, actually he plays the switch just to play the switch. And I realized that he just played two supporters in one turn. I don't know if I realized this or not, but he did just play two supporters in one turn. However, I'm still in a good position to win, so I don't catch his mistake. He doesn't catch his mistake. He did use a collector, and he did, pretty sure that was a collector earlier, with a Pokegear. So yeah, he did use a collector, he did use a Juniper, but oh well, it was an honest mistake, and neither one of us caught it, but it doesn't matter because I can still easily win. And he does X-Ball to knock out the Mewtwo. And he's showing me his very frustrated hand of 3 Prism Energy. He's, I remember this, he's complaining about how when he wants them, he never has them, and they always seem to clump together. Prism Energy clumps. So I promote my free retreat Dynamo, just so I can Dynamotor stuff onto the bench. I'm going to double Dynamotor 2 onto Zekrom EX, attach 1 for the turn, and then I Junk Arm something something for the catcher to be able to pull up anything on the bench and Strong Volt for knockout for my last prize. So that was CMT versus Zekeels. John just kind of got a very slow start, and I was able to take go just extremely just plow through them. Typically, games or that particular matchup is a little more, it's typically more close. But as you can see, it's, you know, sometimes decks just run a little slower than they should. That deck actually, the CMT deck, it wasn't really perfected either. It didn't run Smeargle, but it's still not a bad deck at all. So, hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of this style of commentary. And if you do like it over the live videos, rather than just us kind of talking back and forth and maybe have something else going on in the background, then I'll make a habit of just doing commentary over all my battle vids. So, again, thanks for watching.